The voice came from a sleek-skinned alien with 6 eyes and a mouth full of vibrating teeth. He wore the uniform of an arena stylist, dabbing something bright and ridiculous on Rhea's face. "Maybe not even 5, his assistant chuckled, attaching foam bells to the ends of her sleeves. "Audience loves a good splatter gag." Rhea said nothing. She sat still, her wrists bound to the dressing chair, eyes fixed on the flickering holoscreen above. Varnock the Bone Grinder stood center stage. His last opponent, a cybernetic ogre from the tech hive, lay twitching in a pool of molten spinal fluid. It hadn't even been close. A puff of glitter hit Rhea's cheek. "Oh come on, smile," the stylist cooed. "You're the comedy slot. Lighten up." She blinked slowly. "Do you remember the last human they sent in?" The assistant snorted. "The Screamer?" He peed himself before the bell rang. Classic. That had been her brother. Rhea stared straight ahead, back rigid, fingers tightening slightly under the cuffs. 10 minutes later, they paraded her down the hall of open flesh, a corridor of transparent walls showing previous gladiator corpses preserved in combat poses. A child's twisted form stared at her from one case, jaw permanently agape in mid-scream. "Tradition," the announcer had said last night. "Remind them what they're worth." The gates at the end hissed open. Bright red light washed over her. Cheers erupted, sharp, cruel, and eager. Rhea stepped into the blood arena barefoot, the floor slick from the last match. Her costume jingled stupidly, oversized gloves, sparkly elbow bands, a pink chest plate labeled soft target. Across the pit, the opposite gate clanged open. Varnock emerged. 10 feet tall, skin-plated in obsidian scales. His back rippled like liquid armor. In one claw, he carried a skull, fresh, steaming, and cracked. He held it high and roared. The crowd responded with thunder. Rhea stopped 5 paces into the sand, her shoulders relaxed, chin lowered slightly. Her eyes didn't follow the skull. They watched his gait. His left leg dragged by 2 centimeters. Right shoulder rotated less fully, possibly old scar tissue. Breathing pattern, rhythmic but shallow. Overconfident. Already dismissing her. The announcer's voice boomed. "Tonight's appetizer, dear viewers, a human joke match. Presenting Rhea the Fragile. And the champion, the Thunderlord of the arena, Breaker of Bones. Varnock the Bone Grinder." The crowd chanted his name in 12 different languages. Varnock pointed a claw at Rhea. "Little meat. I'll peel you slow." "No," she said quietly. He frowned. "What?" "No talking. Just move." The audience laughed again. 3 meters apart now. Varnock rolled his shoulders. "Let's see you dance, human." A sharp buzzer rang. He lunged. His claw came in low, wide, reckless, meant to smash her ribs and fling her body into the stands. But Rhea wasn't there. She had already stepped in. 1 step. Pivot. Inhale. Her fingers pressed lightly under his left armpit, where the scale plating shifted. A single knuckle strike, twisted at an upward 15-degree angle. There was a pop. Then silence. Varnock's massive body staggered. He looked confused. His left arm dropped limp. He tried to roar but his chest convulsed instead. Rhea spun behind him. Second strike, the base of the spine, angled through the nerve junction behind the pelvis. Crack. Varnock dropped. Not with a roar. Not in defiance. He collapsed like a building losing structural integrity. A thud, sharp exhale, twitching limbs. Then stillness. Dead silence. For a moment, the arena didn't react. Not the audience. Not the announcer. Not the drones. Then, a ripple of sound. Gasps. Metal scraping. Someone dropped a drink. A child screamed. Varnock's body lay twitching. His mouth moved. No words. Just air. A medical drone zipped down, scanning the champion's body. A screen flashed red. Multiple spinal fractures. Nervous system collapse. No external injury. Rhea looked up into the hovering lens of a skycam. 5 seconds, she said. Then turned her back. They didn't escort her out. They surrounded her, 4 guards with pulse staffs aimed at her back. The announcer's voice returned, cracked and confused. Well, folks, that was quite a twist. The human has, apparently won. Wait, cut the feed, wait, no, keep it running. Ratings just spiked. In the control tower, alien dignitaries were shouting. Screens were blinking. One message repeated. Human broke champion. Request confirmation. Replay inconclusive. Was it real? As Rhea passed the shattered gates, she muttered to herself. They thought we forgot how to fight. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. The galaxy had just seen it. And the fear had begun. The med drones descended in a swarm. They hovered above Varnok's twitching frame, scanners flashing, probes sliding into ports between his plates. His eyes were wide but unfocused, jaw tight, fingers curling and uncurling like they couldn't remember what hands were for. He's conscious, one of the techs muttered into a mic, voice low. But motor response is gone. Gone, the control room supervisor hissed. He's the champion. Rhea stood 10 feet away, hands relaxed by her sides. The ridiculous foam sleeves still jingled faintly in the dead silence. A voice cracked over the speaker feed. Repeat that. Gone? No spinal integrity. 3 vertebrae crushed. Reflex loop shorted. It's not paralysis, it's annihilation. Someone cut the arena lights. The crowd groaned. A dozen languages murmured in disbelief. Some chanted cheat, others trick. But most said nothing. Too stunned. Inside the glass-paneled control tower above the arena, the council chamber buzzed with confusion. The feed looped again and again. Frame by frame. Analysts tried to pinpoint what had happened. There was no blur. No illegal weapon. No psychic surge. Just the girl. Just 5 seconds. Someone pull her file, barked a silver-scaled bureaucrat. Where is she from? Earth. Civilian. Transported 2 years ago as a classy novelty fighter. Classy? A war-bred general scoffed. That's below pet status. No one laughed. Down below, in the sand, Rhea remained still. Her eyes were closed now. Breathing steady. In her mind, the movements replayed, step, pivot, insert strike. Knees relaxed. Weight distribution even. The bone grinder's body had moved just as she predicted. She had trained for this moment since her brother's death. Years ago, buried deep in a forgotten dojo in the underground cities of Earth's ruins, a man with white eyes had taught her how to dismantle giants. Not with brute force, but with surgical violence. Strength is a story others tell about you, he had whispered once. Your job is to rewrite it with their bones. Get her out of there, someone said. The guards approached, slower than usual. One kept his rifle a little higher. Rhea raised her hands. Not in surrender, just to show them she was done. The arena gates creaked open again, this time not with triumph or doom, but confusion. She walked through alone. No victor's march. No trophies. Just silence behind her. In the med bay, Varnok lay strapped to a hovering support rig. Tubes in his mouth. Monitors chirped softly. She did this without a blade, the physician asked, tail flicking nervously. One of the arena technicians replied, no weapons. No implants. Just hands. Impossible. Apparently not. Hours passed. The feed had gone viral across 13 systems. On Araxa 7, rebels replayed the footage with music overlay. On Dekrin, underground human workers watched it looped on cracked holoscreens. On Earth, where the skies were still toxic, children pointed and whispered, "That's one of us." The moment had split something. A fracture in the narrative. Back in her cell, Rhea removed the foam gloves. Her hands were bruised, 2 knuckles dark from impact. She flexed them slowly, wincing once. There was no celebration waiting. Only silence. Then, a knock. 2 guards entered. One dropped a tray. The other held a comm tablet. "Message," he muttered, shoving it through the bars. "From someone on the council." Rhea tapped it. A hologram shimmered up. A tall, fox-faced diplomat appeared, wrapped in the black and gold sigils of the Galactic Council's media division. "Rhea Calderon," he began, voice velvet and practiced. "You've caused quite a stir." She said nothing. "We expected blood. Not this." Still nothing. "You've just redefined human value in the system. For that, congratulations." She frowned. "You're afraid. Let's call it, recalibrating our assumptions. What do you want?" "We'd like to negotiate your next appearance. The council believes your skills are commercially viable." Rhea's jaw tightened. "You want another show?" "Yes. But this time, not as a joke. As a headline. I'm not here to entertain you." "Then what are you here for, Miss Calderon?" Her reply was quiet. "To remind you we were never weak." The call ended. Elsewhere, in a darkened control suite, a general turned away from the feed and whispered to his aide. "Monitor all human colonies. If more of them are trained like her." "They're not, sir." "Find out where she learned it anyway. And destroy it." The galaxy didn't sleep that night. Clips were dissected in military schools. Resistance cells used it as propaganda. On backwater planets, children mimicked Rhea's stance. Some bought fake foam suits to imitate her. A message had been delivered. Not with a speech. Not with warships. With 5 seconds of precision. And a shattered champion lying in the sand. In her cell, Rhea curled onto the metal cot. She didn't cry. She didn't sleep much either. She was already thinking of the next fight. The one that would matter more. The morning didn't come with sunlight, only cold light panels humming on in the ceiling. Rhea sat cross-legged on the cot, facing the steel wall. No guards, no food tray today. No sounds outside. The quiet wasn't peace. It was processing. Something had shifted. A soft click broke the silence. The cell door opened. A man entered, not alien. Human. Clean-shaven, tan uniform. Civilian clothes disguised as something more official. "Rhea Calderon," he said. "I'm Isaac Varon. Human envoy to the Galactic Observation Committee." She didn't respond. "I'm not with them," he added. "But they don't know that." Rhea tilted her head slightly. "Then who are you with?" Isaac glanced over his shoulder before stepping in fully and sealing the door. "I'm with the ones who've been watching you long before the arena." He dropped a small projector on the floor. A hologram shimmered up, footage of her strike. Slowed to milliseconds. Frame by frame. "We've been waiting for someone like you," he said. "Someone who could break the script." She looked at the clip, then back at him. "Why now?" "Because the galaxy just blinked." He paused. "You didn't just win. You humiliated them. You ended a dynasty with your bare hands. The council doesn't know what to do with you. They want to make me fight again." Isaac nodded. "And when you say no, they'll try to kill you quietly. Or worse, rewrite it. Say Varnock tripped on your costume or suffered a stroke." Her lip curled slightly. "Let them try." "No. You need to survive. We need you to do more than kill champions." "Then tell me what you really want." Isaac crouched, voice low. "We're building something. A broadcast, but bigger. A message from the humans they thought were broken. You'll be the face of it. I'm not interested in being a face. You don't have to be, he replied. Just don't let them own the story. 2 hours later, the guards returned, not with chains, but with gifts. A new cell. Larger. Cleaner. No restraints. And waiting in the center, a training dummy. Human-shaped, pressure-marked, top-grade combat polymer. A council rep appeared via hologram on the wall. Miss Calderon, the audience has spoken. Your performance ratings exceeded expectations. We're negotiating future matches against elite contenders. Species vote is currently underway. She approached the dummy. And if I decline? Then you'll become difficult. And difficult people don't last. I'm not afraid of dying. That's why you're useful. Later that day, the galaxy's leading media stream aired a new headline. Human fighter breaks champion, Council approves new human combat league. The video was edited. Angles changed. Her quote, "This is for my brother," was removed. Instead, she was dubbed the Laughing Death. Footage looped endlessly, now with dramatic sound effects added. Isaac's warning had been right. They were trying to turn her into a product. But the damage had been done. On a mining outpost in the Outer Belts, a 10-year-old girl whispered to her older brother, "Do you think I could fight like her?" On a slave ship, a human cleaner watched the feed silently, then wiped the screen with his sleeve, leaving behind a smudge in the shape of an R. On Earth, the underground networks flared to life. Dozens of hidden schools lit their digital firewalls. One message went out, system to system. It's begun. Rhea sat alone in her new room. The foam costume was gone. She wore black now. Plain. Movement ready. A voice buzzed in from above. You'll be meeting your next opponent tomorrow. Species, Mydran. High-density muscle mass. 4 limbs. No central spinal core. You'll need a different strategy. She didn't answer. Instead, she stood. Approached the dummy again. This time, she didn't strike. She traced the pressure points slowly, mapping new patterns. The announcer's voice crackled faintly from the hallway. And to think, we once laughed at them. Inside the arena's highest council chamber, several species debated behind closed doors. She's a weapon. She's an accident. She's a spark. The vote was unanimous. Monitor all humans. Restrict combat training. Erase neurokinetic archives. Increase surveillance on Terran colonies. Too late. The footage had spread. The silence had broken. 1 week later, Rhea walked back into the blood arena, not for a fight, but a speech. The council offered her a moment before the cameras to speak to her fans. She stepped forward. The crowd buzzed with expectation. Rhea raised the mic. "I'm not here to entertain you." Murmurs rose. She continued, voice steady. "You don't get to define us anymore." Her image flashed across trillions of screens. And in quiet corners of the galaxy, people listened. That night, the arena didn't echo with bloodlust. It echoed with something far more dangerous. Hope.